Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a review of the Zaopin Z1. This is not the Pro version of the mouse that I believe is coming a little bit later. I do want to give you guys my impressions on the shape, the overall build quality of the mouse. Aesthetically speaking, it is pretty cool. I love the translucent look of the mouse, and I'm happy that we have more translucent mice coming. But overall, my time on the mouse actually has been pretty solid, even though the sensor placement is a little bit unique. Let's get into it. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a lot of you guys have not heard of Zaopin or the Zaopin Z1. This is another mouse that is coming out of China from a website, metkeys.com. Metkeys does stock a lot of unique mice coming out that a lot of us have not heard of before. A lot of them have had a little iffy build quality here and there. The Zaopin Z1, I would say, is the best in terms of build quality that I've tried from Metkeys so far. In terms of the overall aesthetic of the mouse, it does have a similar removable top shell like the Fantech Aria. You can see that this smoky black translucent top shell does come off and allow you to interchange different colors on the top of the mouse, which I think is pretty cool. It does have a solid orange shell in the box that it comes with, and for the amount of money, I think I only paid like $50 for this thing. It is a pretty damn solid mouse with a 3395 sensor, a weight of 69 grams, which I did opt for the larger battery capacity at 500 mAh. You can go for a smaller battery to save a little bit of weight on the website, which is a nice feature as well. But the overall aesthetic with that 360-degree translucent smoky black shell and then those orange accents, I think this is one of the best mice that I have seen from an aesthetic standpoint. And then you have that really nice RGB on the bottom, which you can turn the mouse on without the RGB. And you do have RGB on the scroll wheel indicating what DPI step you're on the mouse. The switches and build quality of this mouse feel pretty damn solid. Probably the best build quality, again, I've had from Metkeys so far, with just minimal side play on mouse 1 and mouse 2, no switch grinding that I can feel or notice, and then just a tiny, tiny bit of pre-travel and next to no post-travel on mouse 1 and mouse 2. The skates are not of the highest quality. I would definitely replace those when I have the opportunity. Mixed with the Equate Plus V2, it did not really present itself as much of an issue. And then the side buttons do look as though they would be kind of thin and obnoxious to use, but they do protrude from the shell of the mouse quite a bit. And there's enough surface area with how long they are that I actually never felt them to be too thin or kind of a nuisance to use. Mouse 4 and Mouse 5 actually happen to feel really nice. Scroll wheel feels great. It is a little bit on the thicker step side. And then mouse 3 is very spammable. Everything really feels good from a switch and feel perspective with TTC micro motion switches for mouse 1 and mouse 2 that actually feel like a better implementation of switches to me than the Fantech Aria with KL 8s and the Razer Orochi with modified KL 4s. I think the switches in all of these mice actually feel pretty good to me, but I would definitely give the edge just a little bit to the Zaopin Z1. I think they've done a pretty phenomenal job with this mouse in particular. The main question would be next is, how does it perform? And with the sensor placement on the far left side of the mouse, kind of close to your thumb, a lot of people were wondering, how would that feel in game? How does that transition from the center of the mouse affect my performance? I actually felt no degradation in my performance on this mouse at all. I actually performed extremely well on this mouse. And the only thing I would say that I maybe had a feeling of with the sensor placement on the far left was that it almost made the mouse feel a little bit lighter. At 69 grams, it is pretty well weight balanced. A little bit more weight maybe on the back side of the mouse where the RGB is here, and the USB-C charging is on the bottom side of the mouse, so I don't think that you guys are ever going to be using this thing while it's plugged in, unfortunately. But overall, build quality feels great, and the performance, again, I was absolutely beaming on this mouse mixed with the Equate Plus V2. I think the mouse feels extremely good and is a nice side option compared to both the Fantech Aria and the Razer Orochi. Let's get into some comparisons in regard to how this mouse compares to both of these. The comparisons to the Razer Orochi and the Fantech Aria, you can see just looking at all three of the mice, they almost look a little bit similar in their ergonomics. But the Razer Orochi, to me, does feel like it has a wider and more rounded mid-body, giving you a little bit more surface area under your palm to plant and have your palm kind of using that as an anchor. The Zaopin, to me, feels a little bit more narrow than the Razer Orochi, kind of forcing you into a little bit more aggressive of a grip. That could either benefit you or make you play a little bit worse. It depends if you like that base to kind of plant your palm on for additional stability while tracking. In my hand, the Razer Orochi feels like it has a little bit more inner hand maneuverability. Just by feel, it doesn't actually feel as long to me as the Zaopin Z1, but they are pretty similar. Just the Zaopin Z1, again, primarily feeling a lot more narrow and kind of requiring me to have a little bit more aggressive of a grip. The changes are a little bit more substantial compared to the Fantech Aria, which is both wider and a little bit more bulbous in that mid-body, again, giving you even more surface area compared to the Orochi to rest your palm on for additional stability while tracking. The Fantech Aria feels about as high, but maybe a little bit higher and a lot longer. So if you're a big-handed person, you might prefer the Fantech Aria. Me personally, I actually perform very well on all three of these mice. They are definitely in the same family. It's kind of a question for you now regarding which one might work best for you. If you like a little bit more narrow for your grip, if you like that mid-body that you can plant on for a little bit additional stability. But again, all three of these feel really nice to me. So that is it for this one, guys. The next review, I definitely want to get out for you guys, the Equate Plus V2 review. I absolutely love this mouse pad so far. I think it's probably my favorite hybrid of 2023, possibly my favorite hybrid overall, but I'll definitely get into it in the review with some comparisons. I hope this review helped, guys. If anybody was interested in the Zaopin Z1, or at least didn't know about the Zaopin Z1, now you do. If it helped, please leave a sub to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.